I am me, and I'm going to show you how to make this because a lot of people want me to show you. This is going to be a really long one because I really want to go in depth and show absolutely everything I do, because sometimes I go pretty quick or I skip text a little bit. I really want to get into it with this video, keep it simple and just show you everything I do. Alright, I already did some stuff without showing you because if you don't know how to do that, then this isn't going to go super well for you. I just made a file 1500 by 500 high, and then I added my background and my character, my render. And this was a free to use render just for clarification. And then I hit hue and saturation, and then I made the background black and white. And as you can see there, I actually am going to make a gradient right here, and I'm going to make it blue, and then I'm going to make it pink on the other side. And then I'm going to make it so it's half and half, kind of split with the character's hair there, the render. And then I'm going to mess with the blending mode, and then you'll see what I land on. And then I think I set it to soft light at the end, but you'll see and I'll tell you. Yeah, so both soft light and overlay work really well. I did go with overlay at the end, and then I'm actually going to create some layers over my character, create a clipping mask over that, and then I'm going to paint it pink on one side and then blue on the other, just so I can start with blending first. And I'm just getting a big brush, just making it pink and then messing with it. I'll put it to overlay or soft light or hue or color, whichever works. It all depends on your situation, but as you can see, I did go with hue right there, and then I did the same thing for the blue side. Then once we were all set with that, this is something that I highly recommend doing. You kind of just take a big black brush and then you paint a few spots all over the character, set it to soft light or overlay or whatever works. You'll see I do this a couple times. This is just to give some, I guess, artificial contrast, if that makes any sense. And then I'm going to turn the opacity down a lot after that, because it can look unnatural if it's too high or too apparent. So just turn down the opacity or the fill, whichever works best for you. It all depends on your situation, but I am going to do this again and do the same thing. And then right up here is the most fun part, but it does take a lot of practice. But once you get it going, it is quite fun. This is definitely my favorite part. I'm just going to go and create a layer beneath the render. And then I'm going to make a big brush, about, I think, 300. 300 is fine. I'm just going to paint some spots around the character. And then I'm going to change, well, I'm going to make blue for one side and then pink for one side, you know, just so it corresponds. I'm going to change the blending mode, as you see right there, to like overlay or soft light or hard light or color dodge, whatever works best, because this is going to be one of many layers that I do in the, like, behind the character. I'm also going to do this for the pink side, and then we'll go from there. as you can see, I did paint my pink side. It's starting to take shape a little bit. Then I'm going to make it sort of blue and a lot lighter, and I'm going to go on the blue side and just put in some highlights right there. Then I'll mess with the blending mode again. I think I set it to overlay or something. And just make sure you do it, you put your lighter spots where there are highlights or where you're planning to blend in highlights, if that makes any sense. Like where it's lighter on the character, you're going to want to put the light spots or create those light spots. I can show you how to do that after. As you can see, I did the same for the pink side, and then I just took a smaller brush, about 100, 150, 175, and I'm just painting in with actually white this time. And then sometimes you can change the blending mode for this, but I kind of thought that white would work for this, especially because I'm going to be overlaying an explosion over this. You'll see in a little bit. But just wherever there are highlights or where you're planning to put highlights, make sure you use that white. Just for some fun contrast, I'm going to make my brush, make it black, and then I'm going to make it probably, about 300 points, 300 pixels, and then I'm going to actually make it, or I'm going to paint the edge right there with black, and then I'm going to mess with the blending mode. Probably soft light or something like that will work, or just normal, and make sure you turn the opacity down so it doesn't look unnatural. Yeah, I would soft light there. But if it looks fine, that's fine, but it just creates some contrast, and this is something I'd highly recommend. This is another really fun step I like to do. Just create a layer over your character. Make sure you right click, create clipping mask, and then you're going to take a small white brush. I went with around 50 points, 50 pixels that is. And then I'm actually going to paint some highlights on the character, because when you create the clipping mask, you are editing, whatever your clipping mask is attached to is what you are editing on. So you'll see I'll highlight the hair right there, and clipping masks are really helpful, especially with lighting of individual things. If you don't know what they are, I'm just letting you know right now, but it's a pretty simple thing, and something you should probably start to do if you're not doing already. Alright, so I'm going to actually take these sparks from a certain pack I have called the Insanity Pack. I'm not sure where I found it, don't really remember, but sparks are just, they're kind of generic. You can really find them in any general pack. But I'm going to put them behind the character, as you can see right there. Control T to kind of transform them and put them exactly where I want. I'm going to create a hue and saturation layer over that and just make them blue so they blend in with the blue. Then I'm going to erase them when they bleed to the pink so it doesn't look out of place. Then I'm going to hit Control J after that. You'll see me do that. It sounds kind of complex, but it's pretty easy. After you do your blue, just Control J, then do the same thing for the pink side. Create a hue saturation slider over that, as you can see I'm doing with the blue. Then you'll just do that with the pink side. It's fairly easy, and then you can just erase which ones you don't like, but some of them will be covered by text in the end. Right here for the background, I just wanted to make the whole right side a lot darker, just so there's more contrast, because that's what I was going for. So I made a big brush, maybe around 500 points. I made it really light blue. Then I messed with the blending mode so that it was darker. And the reason I used a light brush is so I can use certain blending modes and have it look dark, but also retain the lighting and the color that I really wanted. So as you can see, I did go with, I don't know what I went with. You'll see which one I click at the end, but it turned out alright. And then I also grabbed this from a pack called the Divinity Pack. It's just an explosion, and this one I use like a lot. I use this one so much. It's an explosion. I'm going to put it right kind of behind the white glow behind the character. I'm going to mess with the blending mode, but I think I do keep it in, I think linear dodge. And then once I do that, I create a hue and saturation layer over that with a clipping mask, as you'll see me do right here, after I turn the opacity down. And then I will actually make sure it's like white and not like red and out of place. But since I set it to color dodge, it kind of bounces off the blue. If you don't know what color dodge is, it retains the color of other things around it, so it's really helpful for blending. Right here, I'm just going to add some generic particles. If you're familiar with Photoshop, you know how to do this. Then I'm going to create a clipping mask, and then I'm going to paint blue on one side over it and pink on the other over it. And I'm gonna actually mess with the blending modes. I think I changed it to either hue, color, or saturation. I believe it was color or soft light. I don't know which one I did. Hue. Yeah, there we go. And I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna switch it to pink and actually do the same for the pink side. And this is just to make sure that the particles are the same color of everything else. As you can see, there were all sorts of different colors. And then this is just simple, how to change color for an individual layer. Just create a clipping mask over it, paint over it, and then switch the blending mode of whatever you painted with, like hue, saturation, color, soft light, whichever works best. And then I am going to put in a text stock right here behind the character. I'm going to erase it on the right side and then turn the opacity down so it's just like very faint, just a nice little bunch of sharp lines to sort of like sharpen things up when it comes down to it. I'm actually going to do another similar thing. These are just general stocks you'll find in most graphics packs. And again, I use the Infinity pack, the Divinity pack, the Killer pack sometimes, and I have like a generic Fortnite pack that you can find those on YouTube pretty easily. I'll probably make one fairly soon, hopefully. And then right here, as you can see, I'm just taking a generic lens flare. I'm putting it above most things, above the character especially, just so I can get a nice little effect. I'm going to hit Control T to transform it, and then I'm going to bend it so that it just shines a little light on the character. It's sort of a ambiguous type thing that you're not really supposed to notice too much. Sometimes there are lens flares that you're supposed to notice, like, you know, out of the gate, but this one I just wanted just a little light to shine without people noticing, especially on first glance. So this is a nice little trick that I like to teach people who are learning graphics. And then we do have Cinema 4D, which is what a lot of people are requesting. I might make a whole separate thing on this. I am using, as you can see, a Lightroom right there. It is linked in the description on every video that I do. So check it out if you want. It is a paid Lightroom, but I can do, a lot of people are having issues with it. I guess it's kind of hard when you're first starting. I know I had issues with it too, but I'm just finding what name I'm gonna do and then we'll go from there. Alright, so as you can see, my text is called Chunk. I don't know why it is, but this text I chose especially because it is free for commercial use. If you don't know what that means, when you go to a lot of these font websites, you'll find, you know, free for personal use, and I believe, well, I'm not using this for commercial use, but I just kind of want to be safe. So I'm using this this one because it's going to be public, and I might be making money off of this in the future. Not right now, but make sure you are finding a font that is free for commercial use. This is very, very important. You don't want to get in trouble. It's the same as using someone else's work without paying for it. Because people who make text, it is very, very hard to make text. I have been in typography classes actually in college, and it goes to show like how much time and effort people put into this stuff. But as you can see, I found my name, and that little, I'll make a full video on this so it's a lot more clear, but I am getting the angle right. As you can see, I'm clicking that thing and I'm dragging it so I can get which angle I want. It's kind of hard to explain, but you can kind of see me doing it. You just kind of click that, hold it, and drag to get your angle. And as you can see, top left, what I clicked right there, and then I'm going to drag that red thing to kind of change the angle right here. Then I'm going to edit the save functions. This right here is how you save it if you're buying a Lightroom. It's actually, yeah, you can see what I did right there. But it's actually saving to when you buy a Lightroom, it's going to save to the person's computer of who you bought it to. So you have to change it. You can see how I changed it right there. It's really simple. Just go back and check if you need to. It's really, really simple. You just make it so that it changes to saving to your computer, to your documents, or whatever you want. And so I changed it, and then you can see the button I clicked for rendering. It's really simple. then it'll just save, and then you go to File, Place Embedded, and then you'll place the text right in.
I would never ask you no.
And then right here, I create a layer over it of a photo filter. And then I hold Alt and make a clipping mask, or right click, create clipping mask. Then I turn the slider all the way up and I change it to a cooling filter, because I do want this to be a blue text. And I'll just mess with the color right here so that it blends perfectly. This is going to be very, very simple text, just so we can get it down and show you, how to do it pretty simply, because I have kind of danced around it in the past. I want to show you how to do it. So I'm probably going to make a whole separate thing for this, but this is your very basic text. Alright, once we got that, again, I'm going to keep it simple. Above the photo filter, create another layer, and then right click, and then create clipping mask. Then get a really small brush and make sure the color is white. As you can see, it's selected there. Then you're just going to paint some splotches on. This is just to make the text a little more interesting. The text is pretty boring, I guess, with this one, but I wanted to keep it simple just to show you, how to make simple text. And I'm going to mess with the, I think I said it's overlay at the end. I just mess with it just to see what works best. Then after that, below the text, you're going to create a layer, and then I'm going to just make a clear to black gradient layer right there. Then I'm going to just mess with the size right there. I kind of want it to blend into the character right there, and just make the text pop a little bit more as opposed to blend, because I just want it to look like that. Then I'm going to mess with it, and then I'm going to turn, actually, I think I set it to normal in the end. I'm not sure. Yeah, I set it to normal. Then I turn the opacity down quite a bit, just so it doesn't look super out of place. Then after that, we do add social media icons / text. You should probably know how to make socials. If not, I guess I'll explain it pretty quickly. As you can see right here, I'm just gonna take the YouTube icon. I'm gonna get my magic wand, just delete the white there. Then I'm gonna right click and then click blending options just to get to, and then what do I do? I said it's a color overlay. Just select the color I want. Then I'll do the same thing with the Twitter icon. And then text is just normal text. You just make a new layer, get your text tool, type in your text, and then you can set it to whatever color you want. It's pretty simple. Then after you're done with that, you just save it as a PNG. You should know how to do that. Just File, Save As, set it to PNG, whatever you want. Then just open it in a new document, and then we're going to take the whole thing and create a camera raw filter. This is just something good to do. Pretty much with every single thing you create, you kind of want to make it a PNG, and then this is just something I started doing actually pretty recently, but I should have been doing a long time ago. But it's just kind of like filtering the whole thing. You can see you can edit your exposure, contrast, highlights, shadows, whites, blacks, texture clarity, blah 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 blah. And it's really important to do this, I think. It makes it a lot better. And I actually I did one photo filter for the left side, and then erased the right side with the text, and then I did a different one for the right side, and then after that it is actually all done. Believe it or not, it was pretty simple, this one. It wasn't simple, but it turned out, well, it was kind of simple, but it turned out alright. The text is, I just want to keep the text simple, but I was really happy with the way the lighting, the colors, the renders, the color correction, all of that came out. I didn't even have to use that much color correction in the end, actually. I just kind of did this. And yeah, that's your finished product. I hope you really like it. Please check out my other stuff, because I need watch time in order to monetize my stuff, because YouTube is kind of stinky. And I have to get, like, I think 350 more hours of watch time. Or 3,500 more hours. So please share this stuff and watch my other stuff. Thank you so much, and I'll see you later.